Howdy, Jayhawks, and welcome back to another exciting episode of JayhawkJukebox. I'm Jason.
And I'm Anna.
And we're doing Song of the Week. And since I started talking first, we're going to do my song first. My song is Tutu, Tutu by Gabrielle Lane. Now, I should say Gabby has been a great friend to me for many years, and so I wanted to promote one of her newer, not her newest songs. And this song was just really great to hear her use the voice that those of us in the know have been aware of for years now. But what did you think?
I thought it was a really interesting song. It's like a breakup anthem you can play after you break up with someone. Turn up in the car.
I didn't even think about that. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about breakup anthems, we should talk about love anthems, and that goes to your song.
Yeah, so my song of the week is Trouble Me by 10,000 Maniacs. And I don't know, it was just a really fun song to listen to, kind of a song you can also turn up and dance to in your living room.
Yeah, I've been acutely aware of 10,000 Maniacs. Very chill song for a group called 10,000 Maniacs. Do they tend to be calmer or?
Yeah, they have they say they have punk influences, but they're very chill, and I don't really hear any punk in their music. So let them be what they want to be, I guess.
Punk rock in terms of defying expectations.
Yes.
Well, I really enjoyed it. It was nice and soothing, although I will admit I was trying to stay awake at that point in time when I was listening to it, which is a little counterintuitive.
It's a little lullaby.
It is a lullaby, you're right. And Gabby, if you're watching this. All right.
Yeah.
But I think that will take us to the end of this segment, but don't touch that dial, because next we're talking about College Dropout.
I'm Hayden, and I'm here with Toby. And
Eli.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about the College Dropout, the 2004 release by Kanye West, and the first of his 10 studio albums. Guys, what do we think?
It's a great album.
I love that whole album. From It All Falls Down to Last Call, which just talks about his complete come up, how he had deals with 3H, now he eventually ended up finding Jay-Z. He was always trying to get that deal with Rockefeller.
Yeah, it's like a 12-minute song, and there's about 3 minutes of just a normal song, and then the last 9 minutes are just him pouring his heart and soul onto the track about his long road to get to where he was, meeting up with Jay-Z, finally being on Rockefeller Records, and really, really trying to make it in the scene. Now, if we're talking about top tracks and potential runs in this, Jesus Walks, followed by Never Let Me Down, followed by Get 'Em High. What are your guys' top tracks and some of your favorite runs?
You want to go first?
Yeah. All Falls Down. Every time I hear that All Falls Down, and then watching his documentary on Netflix about how that actually came to be, he wanted to originally get Lauren for that, and then he ended up finding Slovenia.
Yeah.
Yep, ended up finding Slovenia, and she just took it.
Selena.
Selena. Yeah,
Selena.
Actually, yeah, my bad.
And it's just one of the most noticeable, probably beginnings of music. And then we have, and then we get to Gold Digger. Get to a lot of things. I mean, obviously that's not on the Graduation, but
yeah,
we get to songs like that. It's just one of those songs. All Falls Down to me is one of those real key Kanye songs that everyone should know.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite song off the album because it's all just equally great, honestly. But if I had to pick a 3-track run, it'd be We Don't Care, All Falls Down, and then Spaceship.
Ooh, yeah.
Because those three just go together so well.
Well, then the Fly Away skit in there is also very
it transitions
well arranged.
perfectly.
Yeah, it's the showing that he can arrange a gospel choir, which is actually what he did, because that's what he does, because he's sick.
He's Kanye.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love the I'll Fly Away song skit in that album so much, because it just gets me every time, because it's not a real song of his, but it's just, I love the arrangement. Personally, I'm a really big fan of Never Let Me Down, because it's like every mid to early 2000s R&B hip hop song, but it's just the pinnacle of it. When you hear it, there's the guitar riff that's playing. Jay-Z has a great verse in it. I think it's just beautifully arranged. Also, I think that School Spirit is a little underrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was listening to that earlier today because I was like trying to get a refresher of the album. And like it's one of like the most chipmunky of his sounds in this album, and it really kind of introduces you to the Kanye West production, you know, the chipmunking effect, things like that.
Yeah, the chipmunk sampling, I think, is the best thing to come out of the album.
Yeah.
Like in terms of how it affected hip hop for like 7 years after 2004.
He had like already found his sound and what made him different when he made his first album, which is something that you can't say for most creators. I would kind of argue, like obviously they're trying to find a sound, but like I think he was so he distinguished himself differently from so many other people that were out at the time. I think he just did a great job.
Yeah.
What are we thinking of ratings?
10.
Out of 10.
10 easily.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I give it a 12?
Can I?
12?
Yeah. I'll take it.
I'll give it a 12 all day.
We're rating on a Kanye scale too, because it'd be a 10 for everybody else. Like especially if it's like a Taylor Swift album, I can't really compete.
Jesus King is still 10.
Jesus is King is gonna be a 10, even if you compare it to somebody like Tyler the Creator.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna do it for our College Dropout review. I'd like to thank you guys for talking to me, and now I think we're gonna take a quick break while we go to our next segment, which is gonna be conveniently enough about the one lady. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to Jukebox on the Street. It's Alexandria
and Kit.
And this week we are asking, what is the most overrated artist?
Let's find out. I have a feeling I know a lot of what the answers are going to be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's try and get some variety this time.
Yes.
Woo! Okay.
Who do you think is the most overrated artist? Machine Gun Kelly.
I'm gonna have to say Machine Gun Kelly.
Thank you!
Charlie Puth. Ooh.
Charlie Puth.
Yeah, I understand that one.
This is gonna be really controversial, but Harry Styles.
Most overrated?
Harry Styles. I'm sorry, everybody.
Harry Styles.
Ooh, okay.
Beyonce.
Halsey. Picasso.
Why is there a toddler? Who does she belong to? Who does this child belong to?
21 Savage.
Kanye West.
Oh.
Honestly, Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Man.
The most overrated artist is Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Man.
Juice WRLD and Taylor Swift.
Just overrated in general. Whatever you think is the most overrated.
No, she's
Taylor
wrong.
Swift.
No.
Yeah.
Let me say something. Taylor Swift is an amazing artist, and no one could ever do what she does. She's coming out with her 10th studio album while you're recording her music, and she has 3 different genres. You wish you could be her. You wish.
Okay, then who do you think is the most overrated artist?
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Kanye West, no question. Kanye West.
There you go.
Editor Jason, we're doing a tally.
Great.
I'm not a fan of Billie Eilish. Alexandra, who do you think is the most overrated artist?
That's hard. What's yours? Well, I think.
Elvis Presley.
Do you think Elvis is the most influential artist of all time?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, last week I was not a part of our discussion because I refused to see that movie out of spite.
Ariana Grande for me.
That was also
Like,
an opinion.
I love Ariana, like she's such a cute human being, but her music just doesn't do it. It doesn't do it
I
for
have
me.
to be in a very particular mood to listen to Ariana Grande.
Yeah, and it's like the only song I'll really listen to is like Break Free because it's a good like hype song.
I like NASA. That's a good song. But yeah, I'd say Ariana is a bit overrated. Yeah.
I think it's gotta be Drake.
Drake. You know, that's a good answer. I'm gonna go Drake too. Kendrick Lamar.
Ooh, that's a hot one.
A$AP Rocky.
Ooh, that is a
That's cap.
Okay, so clearly our Jayhawks have some very hot takes today.
Very in line with the theme of this week's live stream.
Yes. We're gonna actually have a counter on the screen of how many Taylor Swifts and Kanye's we got. Because boy, did we get a lot.
Yep. Yep.
Honestly, Taylor Swift. Kanye West.
Taylor Swift.
Kanye West.
Taylor Swift.
Kanye West.
Taylor Swift.
Kanye West.
The most overrated artist is Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
This has been Kit and Alexandria, and we are signing off, and we will see you next week. Goodbye. Okay. That went so interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we are back, and so my name's Taylor.
I'm Kit.
And I'm Alexandria.
And so they were just talking about Kanye West, so of course we thought it'd be very good idea to then talk about the nemesis of it all,
Taylor Swift.
So they were talking about Kanye West's debut album. So I do think it's interesting that we're going to be talking about one of her
newer,
maybe her 7th or something like that, like her second to last before she entered this era of re-releasing music. So I guess just off the bat, what are your guys' thoughts in general?
I really liked it. It was almost melancholic in a way, just the sound of it. But the lyricism in this album is phenomenal.
A1. For me personally, so I grew up kind of a Taylor fan, but not too much. My mom is actually a pretty big Swiftie, so I actually heard this album through her because I try not to stay too mainstream with my music, but Taylor Swift is always my weakness, and I just think this is an album that it feels almost like a coming of age album because the storyline of it all is about a teenage girl going through life breakups, all that kind of thing. And I think I really like how Taylor kind of tapped into her younger self as her older self because we obviously got to see Taylor grow up because she started making music when she was 15, 16 years old, but so we were seeing it as it was happening, but then we get to actually look back and reflect and hear more because obviously this album was under her, she was able to release it on her own. So she was able to tell the story she wanted to tell rather than what she had to tell. And I think you can really tell through this album.
I almost feel like it's her niche. This and Evermore, which was the one right after this, are both kind of similar. And I hate when people say stuff like this, but vibes-wise, of the whole
fall vibes,
fall, almost cottage core, very, like you said, melancholic, nostalgic.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things. And like you were saying about the lyrics, that's one of my favorite parts.
Definitely.
Is the storytelling of it all. That's the thing people always say about her all day, every day, is that she's such a great storyteller. And I think this is some of her best work in that regard.
Yes, definitely.
There is one song, Cardigan and Epiphany are my least favorite songs. And it's for this, it's for the opposite reason in a way of these things she kind of does sometimes of being very cliche and I don't know, red lipstick and white t-shirt and just kind of listing things off. But other than that, those are the only 2 songs that I really dislike. If I'm not able to skip them in the moment, I'm fine with listening to them. But I guess that being said, my favorite song is probably Invisible String and Exile, which is featuring Bon Iver. What about you guys?
Mine is August. I am an August truther. There's just something about it. It reminds me of just because I I live in New England, so it just very much has New England summer vibes of going to the beach and the lake, and it just reminds me of home for some reason of just because it's summer romance, whirlwind, meeting a boy on vacation and then not wanting to leave, and it just kind of reminds me of that small town New England beach cottage kind of vibe. So that would be mine, or Betty, just because there's just something about it the story of it is just so it feels so authentic and so relatable and real.
I really like the one. The lyricism in it is just amazing. I think my favorite lyric from it is roaring 20s tossing pennies in the pool, because the whole song is about breakups and relationships and your person not actually being your person, and so it's just such a good lyric because it's talking about how in your 20s, you're really wishing to find your person and find the one, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And I've always been, one thing that impresses me about Taylor is how she's able to resonate with so many different people. My dad is a huge Taylor fan. I actually got him a Folklore t-shirt for Christmas one year and he still wears it. And so it's she's just got such a wide range in audience and demographic that it's really impressive, and it shows that she is a truly good lyricist.
And I do want to give a quick honorable mention, though, to Mirrorball.
Yes.
I feel like anyone who is around our age can relate to it in some way. Just of the, when I'm shiny and
having to be on.
All the time. And I definitely find myself relating to that one. Is definitely on my sad songs list of the am I good enough? Am I am I worth it? Kind of playlist.
It resonates with the I don't want to say like female, but like the insecurities you get when you feel like you're the one that should be being chased after instead of chasing.
It also kind of reminds me of her other song with Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah, I love Nothing New.
Yep, Nothing New is probably one of
yes.
my favorite Taylor Swift songs just because the relatability of it. And like that goes back to her being such an amazing lyricist because, you know, everything that she talks about is so relatable and like it feels so familiar that's why, you know, so many people like listening to her because, you know, it's something that everyone can like find solace in regardless of their background. And I think that's probably the best thing about Taylor Swift as an artist in general. She makes something for everybody.
And like lyrics wise and like storytelling wise in general, like I found this album not when it first came out, but I've never been a Swiftie like growing up per se or anything like that. I still wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie now. I just like her newer stuff and all that. But anyway, I really liked Reputation, and then Lover was right after that. I did not like Lover at all.
There's like 3 songs on Lover that I like.
And then this one came out, and I didn't listen to it right away, even though I heard people talking about it. But then I watched the Folklore Long Pond sessions, which is on like Disney Plus. That's just basically her talking about how they wrote the song and the background behind it, and then they live perform the song. And so just like, I think that just goes back to it being so relatable. Is so much of the stuff she talks about, she obviously doesn't dive too deep into like the true meaning and like the literalness of anything, but like the things she talks about are just like so like her, like I didn't really listen to the album, and then I heard her talking about the background of the songs, and that made me want to listen to it because I was like, oh, that sounds really like relatable and just really, I don't know, something about it.
Yeah, I like how throughout her albums you can really see her finding herself as a person. Because with her first albums, it was, you know, she was a teenager then. She was talking about the topics of being a teenager, like
especially
love and all that stuff.
like in 2007.
Yeah, and then you get into the first album after Red, because I think Red was really one of the last albums where she was really in that teenage mindset, and she got kind of stuck in the mainstream pop field.
With like 1989.
Yeah, and so this album is like her first album where she's kind of breaking out of that mainstream, like catering to the audience, and she's really catering to herself and what she likes to make.
And almost like breaking out of like, I feel like every album up until this, even this one a little bit, but every album up to this, it was like it had its own era. Like there's the Red era, the Reputation era, 1989 era. Like each album was self-contained, and then we get to this one, and she's kind of just grown since. But I think that's all we have for now.
Yes.
And then I think we have another break, and then we'll be up to the concerts coming up this week with Hayden.
Yes.
Thank you.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
How are we, Jayhawks? Welcome back to another live music forecast. I'm Hayden Spratland as always, and I'll be giving you the lowdown on the shows that are coming up in the Lawrence and actually Kansas City area this week for this whole next coming week. So first, Replay Lounge tonight, we have Tootie Booty. I selected this show simply because I thought the art and the name were pretty funny. He's a DJ. It's going to be $3 cover, and it's going to be at 10 p.m. tonight at the Replay Lounge. Then tomorrow on Friday, get your schedules on right now, because this is going to take up your whole day starting at 5:30. So Chris Lane is coming to the inaugural Homecoming Rock Chalk Block Party. That's going to be on 10th and 11th in Mass. So it's going to be on that block in between there over on Mass Street. And the events are going to start at 5:30 p.m. And so you're going to want to get there for that, get a good seat. There's going to be events going on. There's going to be food. There's going to be games. There's going to be a lot going on. And then at 8:15, Chris Lane is going to be doing a show, and it's free for all students. So then, on Saturday, we have the Black Angels, which I've just been told by one of our previous producers are a very good band. They got their name from a Velvet Underground song, and they're going to be performing at the Bottleneck for about $26. And from what I've heard about the Black Angels, they seem to be a pretty good group, and I think that would be a great show to go to if you like psychedelic rock. They're based out of Austin, Texas, and they're making their way here. Now, I know I had this last week, but the Open Irish Jam at the Caw Valley Public House. It's free. Go. It looks really fun. And who doesn't want to go and listen to some Irish tunes? You can even play if you want to. Like, come on, man. You can get jiggy with it on a Sunday. It's from 3 to 6. It's completely free. I think it'd be a good time if you went. Now, over on Sunday, we have Monday, we have La Dispute at the Granada. They're a post-hardcore band from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and that show is going to be starting at 8 p.m. Doors open at 7 at the Granada. That's going to be $25. Then on Tuesday at the Truman, Pusha T, Big Push, is coming to Kansas City. I don't know why, but these tickets are ridiculously cheap. $50 to see one of the greatest rappers alive right now? Are you kidding me, dude? That's a steal. I would try to get yourself out there. I know I'm going with a few other crew members here. It's going to be a blast. Seeing Pusha T at the Truman, $50. Great venue, great place, going to be great. Wednesday, before our next show, is going to be the Big Wild over at the Midland, also in Kansas City, and that's going to be $50. He's a very famous dance electronic music maker, so if you're into that, if you want to go rave on a Wednesday, dude, go for it. You can't really go wrong going to a Big Wild concert, and that's going to be this live music forecast. See you guys later.
This year, everyone is looking forward to the new movie from polka god Weird Al Yankovic. That movie being UHF and this year being 1989. UHF stars Yankovic as George, an unlucky man with an overactive imagination. After taking over a local UHF station, George stumbles onto a hit show. With an influx of new viewers, George uses his creative mind to bring entertaining programming to the masses, much to the chagrin of their chief competitor, Channel 8. The creative team behind this movie had an unenviable task. If they weren't going to make a biopic, then how were they to make a Weird Al Yankovic movie that captures the spirit of what made him famous without just being a series of music video parodies? What they came up with was ultimately in the spirit of Monty Python, Saturday Night Live, and Kids in the Hall.
I'm gay.
Which is to say that by setting the movie at a TV station, the writers gave themselves ample opportunities to add parodies in Yankovic's style.
Buy 9 spatulas, get the 10th one for just 1 penny.
When something isn't being parodied, the movie takes on the slapstick absurdity of Weird Al's music videos. As a fan of Yankovic's, I thought this was a really genius way of incorporating his creative energy into the movie. After all, if his albums and music videos are parodies of songs, then his movie should parody movies and TV programming. And it helps that the parodies in question are absolutely hilarious.
He's Conan the Librarian.
I really enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. The performances are great, the writing's really funny. There's just one thing. 1989 was not the most sensitive time for racial minorities, and although it's a pretty small part of UHF, that kind of racial humor is still there. It's a shame because the bits in the movie are funny without the use of racial stereotypes, but as it is, that's the way the movie was made. I'll give UHF an 8 out of 10. There is a reason this movie is a cult classic, and it mostly holds up. Now, I could have sworn Weird Al was up to something new. Must have been my imagination.
Welcome back to This Week in History, where we will be reviewing events from music history from the past week. I'm Kit.
And I'm Toby.
Australian singer and actress Olivia Newton-John was born September 26, 1948. She had the 1978 single with John Travolta, You're the One That I Want, and the 1981 single Physical. She was a 4-time Grammy Award winner whose music career included 5 #1 hits. She died on August 8, 2022 from the cancer at the age of 73.
Will Smith was born on September 25, 1968. Now known primarily for his acting, Smith first gained recognition as part of the hip-hop duo with Jazzy Jeff. He has solo hits like Getting Jiggy With It and Wild Wild West, and has won 4 Grammy Awards.
In 1977, Elton John became the first musician to be honored in New York City's Madison Square Hall of Fame. Also, earlier this week, the president surprised him with the National Humanities Medal for his work with HIV/AIDS.
U.S. rapper Lil Wayne was born September 27, 1982. He is known as one of the most influential rappers with singles like A Milli, Mr. Carter, and Lollipop, and the solo album The Carter.
Sharing a birthday is singer Avril Lavigne, born on September 27, 1984. She had the 2002 single Complicated off the album Let Go, and the 2007 worldwide #1 single Girlfriend. At the age of 17 years and 3 months, she became the youngest female to top the charts.
American actor and musician Donald Glover, otherwise known as Childish Gambino, was born September 25, 1983. His 2018 U.S. #1 hit, This Is America, won 4 Grammy Awards, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Song Performance, and Best Music Video.
In 2004, Green Day scored their first #1 album with American Idiot, the band's 7th release.
In 2007, U.S. rapper 50 Cent was beaten in the standoff to claim the best-selling album in the U.S. by rival Kanye West. Before the albums went on sale, 50 Cent said he would retire from making solo albums if he was outsold. West's Graduation sold 957,000 copies in its first week, while 50 Cent's album Curtis only sold 691,000. 50 Cent canceled his upcoming European tour and 3 different upcoming performances.
In 2011, 85-year-old Tony Bennett became the oldest living person to top the U.S. album chart with Duets 2 album went to #1. The record, which featured collaborations with artists like Amy Winehouse, Michael Bublé, and Lady Gaga, was also his first U.S. #1 in his 60-year career. The previous oldest performer to top the chart was Bob Dylan in 2009 at 67 years old.
In 2016, several record labels filed a lawsuit against the operators of the YouTube MP3.org, a service that allowed its users to remove audio from videos streamed on YouTube. The court action alleged that tens or hundreds of millions of tracks were illegally copied and distributed by stream-ripping services each month.
In 2017, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers appeared at the Hollywood Bowl. The concert would ultimately be their final show. Tom Petty died of an accidental drug overdose a week later on October 2nd.
And just last night, the rapper artist Leon Ivy Jr. passed away at 59. Known by his stage name Coolio, he's mainly known for his hit Gangsta's Paradise, which still enjoys pop culture relevancy to this day.